Good afternoon, Mrs. Medina. Thank you so much for letting me take a moment to observe your classroom for about 30 minutes. And I just wanted to start this pre-observation by just finding out a little bit more about how you're, what I'm going to be watching and how well you know your classroom and kind of the expectations you have for them and for the teaching profession. So let's start off with the context and students. So what could you describe to me a little bit about your classroom and the types of learners you have and diversity you have within it?
Yes, I have 28 students. 3 of them are ELs. I have students from approaching level to beyond levels, so they're pretty diverse.
Awesome,
learners.
awesome. So then I can tell you know a lot about your classroom. What are some of the strategies you're doing to meet the needs of those that are getting to that approaching level or the EL learners, things of that?
I do small groups on a daily basis with my EL students for ELD, and I also have groups for my students that are on level and beyond.
Great, great. So yeah, definitely the small group is wonderful to use. And just really briefly, some of the demographics in your classroom. Do you have a majority population or?
Majority of my students are white. I do have, like I said, 3 EL students and some other students that have diverse backgrounds, but they don't have English as a second language.
Gotcha, gotcha. So let's go straight into your lesson. What's going to be the learning objective when I come in to watch?
We are working on a novel study right now, Bridge to Terabithia. So we are going to be going over some reading strategies and making sure that they understand that there's different levels of depth of knowledge, so they can identify what kind of question it is, and they will be discussing with a partner and checking for understanding.
Yeah, great, great. Yeah, the analyzing the depth of knowledge is wonderful, especially for the 5th grade students. So for the outcomes, for the student outcomes, what are you hoping to achieve from this lesson?
I would like my students to be able to discuss with a partner and check for understanding, so I will be providing sentence stems, sentence starters for my EL students.
Great. And you said that they will be working from a packet or?
Yes, they have a novel study packet and they have comprehension questions and they have character development questions.
Perfect, perfect. Let's move on to the CSTP elements. Judging from, and I have it right here for you, judging from, one second. Judging from the variety of things within the teaching profession that we should be trying to focus on, what can I expect from this lesson that you're going to provide, that you're going to address for our CSTPs?
I will be promoting critical thinking through inquiry and problem solving and reflection for my students during the novel study.
Okay, and is that through the small group work or the classroom discussion?
Yeah, I will introduce the types of questions first. We will review those, and then they will have to identify the type of questions they are answering together.
Fantastic, that's great. Now let's kind of move on to the Standard 6 and how you're developing as a professional educator. What is the one aspect of it that you're going to try for this year?
I will be working with my colleagues, and we are a part of an impact team training right now that we are using 2 standards and making sure that we check our data for each of our classrooms, and then discussing how to meet the needs of the students that are not understanding.
Great, great. Yeah, the unpacking of the standards is huge when it comes to trying to figure out kind of where they are, where they need to be, and how we can address that. We're almost done, don't worry. So let's kind of move on to developing yourself as the educator, as that person with using your Standard 6, working with your team. How do you feel that that's going to better you in the future?
So when we look at data from our impact team training, we are looking to see which colleague has the better results, and we will be observing each other during lessons and learning from each other.
Trying to learn from each other, yeah, very, very important. So when I'm in your class, I'm going to be trying to observe how you interact with your students, how you address their questioning, kind of the presentation of your lesson. And is there anything that you need from me in order to help you provide a better lesson or any type of support?
Sure, if you can keep track of which students I'm asking questions to, or how many questions they answer in a whole group or with each other. If I select students specifically, I'm not sure.
No, that's fantastic. Yeah, I can definitely help you keep an eye out for that. Well, thank you for your time, Mrs. Medina.